Hey everybody, welcome to the Future of Farming today, and I have a very special episode today. We've invited Brian Bustillos with Pro Soil, and we also have Lynn Hoover with Ocean Blue Ag, and he should be joining us in just a moment here. But today's episode is all about soil health. We talk over and over about increasing crop yields, improving insect resistance, and all the things that a farmer really cares about in terms of the output of the crop, right? But usually when we talk to farmers, it's mostly when we talk about inputs, we're really just they're looking to see how can we reduce our costs and how can we put as little input as possible to generate that output. And of course, from an economic standpoint, it makes total sense. But we want to talk about today is really the importance of soil health, not just for outputting a good crop, let's say in a given season, but also for the long-term benefits for the farm. And so we've invited Brian Bustillos here, and Lynn will be joining us in a minute, really because their group of products really focuses on how to improve the soil health, not just from a standpoint of adding nitrogen or phosphorus or potassium or something like that, but really taking a look at how can we not just add minerals to the soil, but help to rebuild the soil. And so we wanted to talk to him about that today. Brian, thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you being on.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's been a pleasure to work with you guys, and I think we've done one of these with Lynn before and so
Mhm.
forth. And we just want to spread our knowledge of what we're doing from the soil perspective. Our focus is below ground management, right?
Mhm.
And along with in parallel above ground management. But the power of what the soil brings to the table. So basically, soil energy to the above ground plants, right? So,
Mhm.
we deal with all soil medium in our biologicals. We're not um, a bugs in the jug concept. We're enzyme based, and so that's a huge difference. We add a lot of energy to the soil. So, how important is the soil health to the longevity of the farm? That's very important. Um, so, we're excited what we're doing technology wise, nutrient wise, soil amendment wise. Uh, Being able to take that farm from traditional farming practices, right, and build upon that. So, our grandfathers, our grandmothers, those folks that turned the soil a long time ago, and traditional farming practices have changed over time. However, our programs fit into every program that the farmer is able to do. So crop rotational, tillage to no-till, and so forth, right?
Mhm.
Horticultural, specialty crops. And basically what we're doing is just taking the existing microbial life, right? And just enhancing it. So we're feeding it the proper sugars, proper salts. We're feeding the fungi and the bacteria. Some biological companies out there are in the process of just getting their feet going again, right on this path.
Mhm.
We've been out there for 40 plus years and dealing with all types of crops, right? Above ground management, that is. But focus below ground management wise is we really energize the soil. I can't say any more than that.
So talk for a second. Sorry, I'm trying to get
Mhm.
this screen to be. It's kind of like fighting me here, but I'm trying to get both of us on here at the same time. Um, but talk for a little bit about the importance of. So you mentioned like the bugs in a jug. The whole concept. So my understanding of what that concept is typically you have you're actually adding the microbes themselves back to the soil. So you're taking various biological or microbial elements, and you're just they're growing them and then putting them back into the soil and hoping that that will be enough to sort of help them regenerate the soil and thrive. Is that kind of the concept there that
Well, it's a little bit. That's some biological companies are doing that. Yes. So they're introducing life with life, right?
mhm.
Unfortunately, you can't go around the whole country or worldwide and grab a sample of those microbials and rejuvenate them uh, through its geographical location, right?
Hmm.
It's very important. That is very important. So we don't want to introduce a foreign um, substances in any farmer's operation, right?
Hmm.
So that's where we're different. So the difference is enzymes. So we're able to grow those enzymes, rejuvenate those enzymes in a petrified dish, and get those incorporated into the biological platform. So liquid based, right?
Hmm.
And then what we're doing is we're working with the existing microbials in the soil. So, for instance, you got a corn farmer, an alfalfa farmer. Their soils, their crops, their above ground management is a little bit different crop wise, but as far as the soil rotational crops, their soil wise, they're working from different soil amongst their own farming operation, right? Fields,
Hmm.
but we're dealing with existing microbials in that environment. So it's just like them going to uh, uh, a la carte. They're
Hmm.
for example, we go to a buffet as humans. We got the buffet trays that are filled with the elements of the nutrients, the salts, the sugars, everything.
Hmm.
Again, we're feeding the microbials, the fungi and the bacteria. The fungi are basically the waiters. They're going back to the kitchen, working with the um, microbials and bringing that stuff out so that the plants, when we as humans go up to the food trough, we're actually pulling those nutrients as we need them, right?
Hmm.
So pro soil, what we do is we help the farmer rejuvenize their soil, their existing soil. So um, any specialty crops that flourish, they are getting the full vitamin hormone package. They're getting everything they need from a fungal perspective, salts, sugars, juvelite acids, root stimulators, all that, right? So when Harvest Harmonics' platform interacts with our product, they're just, that water is energized, right? And it
Hmm.
just allows that plant to go to a higher level um, of simulation and so forth. So photosynthesis and so forth. And then what we're doing is we're just making sure that food trough is full and those nutrients of our platform, right?
Right. And I think that's where like our technology is not necessarily um, feeding the microbes directly, but what we've noticed is that because our signaling pattern, which is calibrated to improve the plant, metabolism and make
Right.
photosynthesis super efficient, you know, that plant, will automatically sort of feed some of that energy during photosynthesis back through the root system and feed the microbials. And so we're able to re-stimulate some of the positive bacteria and microbes in the soil just by enhancing the plant health. And then what you're doing is you're directly feeding the microbes to really energize them. And of course, the combination thereof should really benefit not only the plants and the crop health, but also the soil and keep it really healthy.
Yes, absolutely. Your platform, and that's why we seeked out a business partnership with you guys. Your platform really is actually like the turbo of
Hmm.
of the platform, right? So as a crop is soil is so important, right? It's the future. Without a well balanced soil platform, you're not going to be very successful. Yes, your platform's going to add some enhancements, but what we're doing is we're actually getting amending the soil at the same time, right?
Hmm.
So those roots are able to get down further down to the soil bank of nutrients, able to get what they need. So when a farmer, they're basically applying nutrients, maybe 5, 10, 15 nutrients at the most, where we're supplying a full spectrum of ocean sea technology nutrients, right? A
Hmm.
full spectrum of 90. On top of what we have in the enzyme based product, it's all, we have a product for foliar feeding, we have a product for top dress, right? A
Hmm.
combination. We have in the furrow, just soil amendment, and then we have a surfactant that's enzyme based, carries the enzymes through all the products. And
Mhm.
so, the farmer is always building that biological every time he adds to his crop. Okay,
Right.
so the harmonics platform is just enhancing so it's like a steam engine going, right? Once you
Hmm.
get that whole microbial steam system going, and you add the harmonics platform to it, it's like just turning on a turbo, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of excited to be working with you guys, and both parties are waiting for some favorable results to show other farmers what the platform is able to do in conjunction, right? When you combine them both. So,
Yeah.
so we got, we represent a couple other companies, but the whole spectrum of of nutrients that we provide is sciencely balanced, right?
Hmm.
The harmonics platform, again, you're going to be able to see the difference, right? And folks that are actually using your platform right now and start to begin the process of, okay, I need to start looking at the soil, I need to start doing my soil samples and look what's missing.
Hmm.
We're always going to have a missing element in our soil. It's a matter of how you go about adding to that platform. Do you add only one element that's missing out of the elements, or do you add a full balance? And the key behind this is a balanced platform of nutrients, stabilities, because it adds the soil's energy. So a farmer, when he's looking at his field and he goes, "Wow, I know I can get better crops. I know it's not just my soil, or I'm using a top seed." We're when you provide a well-established root zone, where you can keep more moisture, more nutrients at that level, and have everything where the photosynthesis is able to get down in there and convert those sugars, and your CECs pick up, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of combinations. Is this really scientist or scientifically to go and do this? A farmer, you know, he's just going to try to adapt as he can go along, right?
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah. I mean, very, very great knowledge. We had a couple of comments here. I was going to read one. Lisa says, "My orange trees are suffering from green disease. I'm located in Florida. I think she means greening, but that's fine. I'm located in Florida. Can this help? But they're also, you know, need some help with canopy density. So she's asking, like, can your products help with greening or improving the canopy density of the orange trees?"
yeah. So again, it's about that platform. It's about getting carbon sequestration back into the soil, right?
Hmm.
So a cover crop between the rows, so that we can break down. We have a product, foundation. It's called Foundation, and what you're going to do is you're going to rejuvenate the soil. You're going to get the microbial stimulated, and then with a cover crop in there, you're going to be able to add more carbon back down into the soil, right? As it
Hmm.
breaks down those roots and so forth. But yeah, absolutely. We got the ocean minerals that we have incorporated in our product, the full spectrum, 90 micronutrients, foliar feeding your crops, spraying the canopies and so forth. I was just up in western Kansas this past week, and we got an organic farmer up there that uses our organic product, and we were foliar feeding the first time. His apple orchard, peach orchard, mixed of orchards up there, right? Trees,
Hmm.
and so in between his rows, he plants alfalfa as a cover crop and
Yeah.
other stuff, for just breaking down the roots, right? As
Right.
he mows, leaves it in there, works it back down, and so forth. So I did a Facebook posting the other day, excuse me, of the results, and it's he had an issue on his trees where they were kind of like scaling back. The bark was.
Mhm.
So, we've added copper to the foliar feeding program, along with the seed technology at 90 nutrients. And then Proganic is the actual organic product that we market. But yeah, that citrus growers, this is key platform for them. And then again, the Harmonics platform is going to really, really boost that uptake of those nutrients also.
Yeah, and we just had a one of our growers here. He's an organic orange grower here in Florida, and like
Okay.
everywhere else in Florida, you have the citrus greening disease. It's the pandemic for the orange industry. That's been going on for 15 years. Everybody talks about COVID, but this is kind of the COVID of the orange industry. They've lost 80% of their
Yes.
industry-wide production in Florida, and most people don't know that. They don't know that. They think of Florida as the orange state, but literally they've lost 80% of their entire production across the whole Florida industry because of this one disease. So,
Right.
um, but
And
what we've yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say what we've been able to do with one of our growers just told us this week is, he's an organic orange guy, and like everybody else, he's fighting the greening problem, but he's got very mature trees that are like 20, 30 years old. And he started using our technology a couple of years ago when we had a grant, and he said he's had the most amazing quality, and in this year he's got the best fruit set he's seen in several years. And he actually noted that the Brix rating, his Brix, which is the sugar content, obviously,
correct.
of it, is about 3 or 4 points higher than the industry average in Florida. So, and about 1 to 2 points higher than he's ever seen in the last several years on his grove. So, just with our technology and helping that photosynthetic process, he's already seeing a huge result. And of course, we're trying to work with some guys again to do those combination studies where we can use our tech and use your tech together, because our technology will help boost the nutrient absorption in the plant itself and help the plant uptake what as much as it can as far as what's there. But sometimes, especially when you get a lot of dilapidation, or you get a lot of when farmland's been farmed over and over and over and it's been sort of depleted, you need to add those extra nutrients like what your products do. And you're right, just having NPK or a few different macronutrients will help, but a lot of times it can be the difference between getting a 10% yield and a 15 or 20% yield just by having the full spectrum, as you said, and of course being able to allow the plant to be healthy enough to absorb what's there, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. More mature, older orchards, they'll be able to prolong their orchards a lot longer. Okay,
Hmm.
even and even the younger orchards, just getting up a stronger plant, stronger tree, stronger root system, a healthier environment. Right,
Hmm.
they're going to thrive and they're going to produce to their full genetic potential. Okay,
Hmm.
all crops. That's one single positiveness that you see with biologicals, and that's any vendor, okay, not just our product, but
Right.
any vendor out there that is pushing a biological, they're actually given that genetic species, let's just call it, plant a better potential to show its full potential, right? So
Hmm.
like your more mature trees, a combination of your platform, our platform, of what they're seeing right now, they're going to see more, right, and
Hmm.
enhancements.
Right.
The barks on the system, the canopy, more canopy, more photosynthesis, right,
Hmm.
and just more fruit uptake, as far as sugars and so forth, converting it into actual fruit. So yeah, the citrus problem is been established over years, right? It's kind of just prolonged and kind of just, impacted itself over years, right?
Hmm.
Are we a one-stop solution? No. You gotta be able to take soil samples. You got to look at the deficiencies. You got to be able to add to that deficiency, but also provide the environment in which those root systems, right,
Hmm.
can be more healthier. So and then again, it's very important for carbon sequestrium, right? You got to have a
Hmm.
cover crop. Just can't have a clean soil in between those row crops, right?
Right.
You got to be able to feed that back in there. And that goes for any crop. For example, Western Kansas, or anywhere in that grows wheat, a grain crop. Um, you know, you got to feed the microbials, not only on the nutrient level perspective, but also on the carbon perspective. And that's one thing we do is we build a bigger root system, we build a bigger carbon platform, and as farmers rotate that crop back down into the soil or non-till, we still break that root system down. You still got to feed them a raw foliage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back down
Yep.
in the soil. But absolutely, your citrus folks will definitely be able to curb this deficiency of what they're having. Um,
Yeah,
so
what I've talked to several people, one of the things that they often tell me, I've talked to some soil scientists, a lot of farmers, people that are, I've talked to farmers that are not really as affected with the greening, and some that are obviously
mhm.
been devastated. And one of the consensuses kind of feeds along what you said earlier, and what I tell people a lot is, there's a whole sort of almost like a biological engine at play when in a plant, and you have a plant will absorb nutrients, it will obviously grow, it utilizes photosynthesis and captures that energy from the sun, that it goes back down and feeds the microbials in the soil, which of course help the plant break apart the minerals and the atmospheric nitrogen and stuff from the atmosphere and the soil, and helps break down those things so that the plants can use it. So it becomes like a cycle that starts to, as you said, it kind of turbocharges the whole cycle and gets it really rolling again. As opposed to sometimes with commercial agriculture, depending on how they're doing it, sometimes that can kind of become a dwindling spiral where you spray to kill the insects, and then that also kills the biologicals, and then of course that deadens the soil, so you have to add more nutrients just to get the plants to survive. And then the plants, because of the chemicals, are not, their photosynthesis is a little bit uh, you know compromised, and so then now it's not producing as much energy, it can't feed the microbials, it just becomes like a dwindling spiral sometimes. So
Yeah,
it
you're
kind of
right.
almost, yeah, it kind of almost becomes like, are you wanting to look at your farm? Obviously every farmer has to look at profitability, it is a business, but sometimes you have to look not just in terms of this year or next year, but long term, like how important is the biological component to not just immediate success but long term success, like 5, 10, 20 years down the road.
Yeah, so that's one thing. When we sit down with farmers, we explain to them this is a program. It's not a single off the shelf application. Okay, they got to stop the focus of I'm going to grab this product to help my yield increase. Okay, got
Mm-hmm.
that mentality is out the window. Okay, yes, we got to build that yield. Okay, but we just it took time for us to degrade our farms over the years.
Mm-hmm.
We just farmed just like the next farmer did, and what we learned in agronomy and so forth over the years. But I've been doing this for over 20 plus years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been with this with Pro Soil for that long, and it's a 40-year-old company. And 20 years ago, farmers had to rely on the chemical companies to apply any product, okay, dry or wet fertilizer, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so there wasn't really that open-minded of progressive farming, okay. But now you can go out to any farm out there, and they either have an injection system on their irrigation platform, or they have their own spray rigs. Some farms have 2, 3 spray rigs just to meet their needs
Mm-hmm.
to get across the fields. And so they're in control of their own destiny, I would say. And so they're more open to inputs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's just about going about the program. It's a program. This whole any biological company out there that's pushing a microbial platform of rejuvenating the soil, it's they got to be honest with that farmer right off the bat. This is not an overnight one crop wonder. Okay, it's at least a 3-year program. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so from from the concept of being able to apply product to a foliar feed, okay, and then being able to establish and get the microbials going, and then second of all is get a bigger root system, a bigger stem, for crops, and then you got a rotational. period, right? You got to
Hmm.
rotate that crop or whatever, and then um, to feed the microbials. And as you feed them, they're going to populate. Worms are the line of the soil, right? You
Hmm.
got worms, you got a platform to work with.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there are malnutrition worms. Okay, and then there's worms that are very healthy. Okay, so yeah, there's just soil health is the future of farming. Okay,
Hmm.
as farmers of all crops start enhancing and looking at things, we've joined a co-op. We've been talking with a few co-ops, and when the co-ops go, wow, in this last year we've had 20 biological companies come through here
Hmm.
and taught their product, right?
Yeah.
That is the movement. There is folks being there. There's folks that have the platform, understand what's going on. There's folks that have just been out for 5, 10 years, 15 years, and are still trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
We welcome all challenges, okay? And again, with your platform, it's the physical turbo, right?
Yeah.
That allows that next evolution of enhancements. So that crop is, as it energizes and it produces, and if you can get the water structure there in time and allow it over a period of time of that growth of that crop, you're going to see great enhancements. I mean, these farmers are going to stop back and go, wow. The older farmers are going to enjoy, they're going to go, I got another 10 years in me if I can farm this way, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But I mean,
Well,
you
so if you
guys
can,
hear it, you guys see the
yeah, if it,
results.
yeah, I have guys. It's funny. Sometimes you think of the younger guys as being the more progressive guys, but a lot of times I'll talk to guys that are in their 70s, going, "Man, this thing is like, but a lot of them are looking at like I really want to pass on my legacy. It's like it's not so much they're not necessarily always worried about I need to make a lot of money, but they're saying I want to pass this on to my son or somebody's going to buy it from me, and I want to have a legacy where it's like the whole farming. That's the nice thing I love about farming is it's very much a generational and a legacy type of business where they're not really always looking for the tomorrow thing. Some of them are, but a lot of times, especially when they get into that older age, when they're looking at retirement, they say, okay, I want to pass this on to my son and my grandchildren so they can continue on the legacy. So
Yep. And you're right. The soil is always going to be there. It's just a matter of us taking a refocus and refocusing of the below ground management. Okay.
mhm.
That is the key thing. We as folks want better produce. We want healthier produce, very higher quality produce. Okay. And
Mhm.
in all crops. And the only way we're going to get there is by focusing on below ground management. Okay.
Yeah,
Technologies like what you guys bring to the platform of crops growing and enhancements, that's just icing on the cake, you know.
yeah,
But again, it's the focus is you have to have a well balanced platform of
yeah. I mean,
soil. That is.
exactly. And bioenergetics combines, it combines the building blocks, which is the soil, right? That is the building block of all crops, and then you combine that with the metabolic improvements that a bioenergetic system like ours can deliver, and then again, it's just a win-win. It is like a turbocharger kind of a system. So,
Yeah,
um,
and as you guys enhance your product over the next couple of years, you're going to see. We're working with SAP analysis companies, right, to verify where things are at, how it's being taken up. Is that genetic performing to its full potential? We're getting fabulous results, right?
mm,
The farmer himself is going, wow, you know, I never thought of being focused on below ground management and making my water platform better, right?
mm, right,
But alkaline. You guys address alkaline. You guys address that built up of non-healthy minerals, right, in the
right.
water.
Hmm.
And but a combination of what we're doing is going to be a key combo going forward. I think you guys realize that, we realize that, and that's why we've reached out to you, over time,
Hmm.
and we just want to see it progress, right?
Exactly. And then Carlos here on the stream had a question. He says, "How could this help in the production of grapes?" Greetings from California. So we've been seeing some amazing results on grapes. Just, I mean, it's kind of funny because there's two grapes. There's table grapes. There's wine grapes, right? The
That's
table
right.
grape guys are just, they want bigger, they want sweeter, and they want more, right? The
Yep.
wine grape guys don't want to. A lot of times they don't want more. They just want to know. They have very certain characteristics they want to say. And what I always tell them is like, look, our technology is just bioenergetics. It's just going to bring up whatever that optimal function of that variety, whatever the genetics in that plant are designed to do. Our technology is going to enhance it. So, but as far as the proprial soil stuff, do you have specific things for grape growers or wine growers that will enhance what they're doing?
Yeah. So for grape growers, right? Their soil, their condition is the key object. I mean, they're the specific wines are grown in specific regions and so forth because of soils, right? But
Mm-hmm.
again, you can only take so much nutrients out of that soil if you don't replenish it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your wines, you got to keep them established. It's all about preservation of moisture, water conservation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the mellow of the soil, making that, if those root systems can be bigger and stronger and healthier, and well balanced, they're going to have a bigger brick platform. Their CCs are going to be higher. They're great quality. The taste is going to be more specific and more enhanced, right? For
Mm-hmm.
vineyards,
Right.
your table grapes and stuff, they're just going to see a bigger crop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sweeter crop and higher quality. That's the key thing they'll see.
Yeah.
Organic farmers, we produce, we have soil amendment products and nutrient products that attend to everything, right?
Yeah.
So, and our package is a combination of five or six products, and
Mm-hmm.
they're specific to the farm operation in which they need to apply them. They don't need all six of them. They can actually, foliar feed, or they can do a combination of just one, organic. It has everything in it, right? The
Yeah.
seed technology has everything. But yeah, table grapes. We have some farmers that they're like, you know what? We never thought our grapes would be taste better, our wine higher quality, and we get great comments.
Okay. Um, One other question I had was, and I could probably talk to you for the next 2 or 3 hours. It's such a great conversation, so thank you for that. But one thing we get from a lot of people that are really environmentally conscious, I hear this comment a lot. Regenerative farming is the way to go, and when I first started here about 4.5 years ago, the comment that I was seeing from outside of the agricultural industry was the farmer is the bad guy. They're using all these chemicals, they're doing all this stuff, they're putting all this nitric oxide and greenhouse gases into the air. And it was like the thing that I found really interesting, and I actually watched a documentary called Kiss the Soil a while back. And it was a very interesting documentary and comment that all of the talk about all the fossil fuels are burning and all the greenhouse gases and everything that's happening, the environmental damage, and we only have 5 years to live or 10 years to live. I
Mm-hmm.
see your dog there.
Yeah, get down,
He says,
Bailey.
he says, "What's happening here?" He's saying, "What's happening, Dad?" So, but
Yeah.
their big comments is always like, we have to reduce emissions, we have to reduce emissions, we have to reduce emissions. And one of the things that was very interesting about this documentary was, yes, we need to reduce, carbon emissions, and that's important, but the soil, the topsoil itself, and with farmland and everything else, is literally a key ingredient that could sequester so much of that carbon. It could pull that back out of the atmosphere and keep it in the soil. And I just wanted to comment because much of what you're describing is like helping, add carbon to the soil, which gives it, gives the microbials what they need and also gives the plants what they need to really regenerate. So I just wanted you to see if you can comment, like, how important is it for, the microbial activity and the soil health to really be able to start pulling in and having a positive environmental effect in addition to economic effect for the farmer.
Yeah, you know, we don't we tailor to everything that grows in the soil. Okay,
Mhm,
a soil medium. As far as regenerative practices and so forth, you know, it's a big umbrella word. Okay,
mhm.
and
Right.
there's several vertical sectors within that regenerative practice. Okay,
Mhm,
you know, from cover crops to different non-till versus tillage, you know, traditional farming,
mhm,
um, and you know, down to livestock and everything. It's all comes down to sustainability. You know, when 2050 comes around, we got to have our P's and Q's and I's and T's crossed and ready to go from a farm production. Okay.
mhm,
Um, we got some farmers out there that are really pushing the envelope. Okay. Um,
mhm,
from crop quality to output and production. Okay.
mhm,
Now, how does that affect what the greenhouses, gases, and everything? You know, our belief is we're not getting caught in any particular vertical market here.
mhm,
How can we enhance things? Traditional farming focus on below ground management, get the microbials going. It's going to help break down these carbon gases and everything. Okay,
mhm.
these sequestering carbon, getting carbon credits, all this stuff. It's a vertical market. Okay,
Right.
people are going to walk down different paths. They're going to find themselves making a U-turn and coming back around and doing what they normally do. Okay,
Mhm.
there's going to be some cost to that. All right,
Yep.
but if big farm operations continue doing what they're doing as far as future focus on below ground management. Okay, um, we focus on traditional microbial enhancements. Okay, they're going to work for us. They're going to work for us more. They're our best. The solution of our future is what we stand on out in the field. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
bottom line.
Yeah.
Um,
That's kind of was my point. It was like, we sometimes you just take care of the simple things. You take care of the basics, like the soil health is what we're talking about today.
yep.
And that will take care of so much more. It's not
Oh,
to, and if we can get more and more farmers just sort of doing the right things, then I think that my point was that we're going to achieve a big impact even almost without trying. We're
oh, absolutely.
our focus is on helping the farmers, and the more we can sort of partner with farmers, I guess is my end point here. The more we can really partner with farmers, and partner with the people to create workable solutions that are not just workable in terms of what we want environmentally or in terms of quality and those types of things, but also work economically for the farmer. And from everything that you and I have talked about over the last several months, and what you're doing, and what we're doing, I think that all of those kind of sectors can kind of come into alignment and form a whole that's going to help everybody from the short term and into the long term as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, our future is the farm platform. Okay. That is our solution. And farmers are becoming more progressive, more open minded. They're understanding we got to change. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got to refocus. Is it a big investment? No. All we do is enhance what they're already doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's all about from the soil to the table concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, better soil, we're going to get better results. Environmentally, it's going to be better, and so forth. You know, we can be here for hours talking about, you know, what
It's
the
a big
future
topic if it's a big part of
resides.
our lives.
Absolutely, it is, but it's real simple. Okay, it's a big topic, but it's really simple, and the soil is the future.
Right. Well,
Okay.
I think it's probably a good time to wrap this up, at least for this episode. Again, we could probably talk for hours, and maybe there's a time for that. But for now, I just want to let everybody know who might be watching our stream on either YouTube or Facebook. Brian, if somebody is interested in using Pro Soil or Ocean Blue products and helping implement that or having a consultation, how can they get a hold of you so that they can take advantage of that?
Yeah, so myself and Lynn are both on LinkedIn and Facebook. Reach out to us under Pro Soil or Ocean Blue. ag ergonomics.
Hmm.
So both, Lynn and I both work hand in hand. We've got a lot of projects going on and so forth. We'll be able to educate everybody. But yeah, please reach out to us on our web links and in both Facebook and also LinkedIn.
Great, and we'll include those in the show notes as well so that people can find
Excellent.
you guys. So, and that's about all. And of course, if you guys are interested in our product, as you guys know, the Kiminasi Plant Booster, again, we're really boosting the bioenergetics, which is a fancy word for saying that we're using radio wave advanced technology to stimulate the metabolic processes of the plant so that all of the nutrients that are there in the soil, whether they're Brian's nutrients or they just happen to be there, we're really helping boost the plant's ability to take advantage of those, absorb them, and utilize them most efficiently for the best crop yield and production, both now and long term. So you can also go to our Facebook page or our website at harvestharmonics.com, and we'd be happy to consult with you on your farm and how we can help you. But that's pretty much all we got today. Again, thank you so much, Brian. Lynn, unfortunately, couldn't make it. He was in the middle of a farm, which is kind of part of the job, I guess. Sometimes you're in the middle of nowhere. But if you guys
That's right.
want to hear some stuff from Lynn, we actually have. He's one of our earlier broadcasts. You can do a search and you can find our earlier talk with Lynn about the calcium and calcium aspect of the carbon cycle as well, which is also a huge important thing. Um,
Absolutely.
so thank you so much, Brian, for joining us, and we look forward to obviously more collaborations in the future. And thank you guys all for joining us on the Future Farming today, and we will see you again next week. Have a great day, guys, and happy Memorial Day to everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Bye.